Hi, my name is Janice Smith, and my paper is Preparation in the Haiti 2010 Earthquake. I researched how information was used before, during, and shortly after the earthquake occurred. Although information was used effectively during and after the earthquake in the rescue efforts, the paper argues that there was more information that could have been shared that would have helped prepare the Haitian people for the disaster. At 4:53 p.m. on January 12, 2010, a 7.0 magnitude earthquake hit the island of Hispaniola, which includes both Haiti and the Dominican Republic. The western part of the island was hit the hardest, which is comprised of Haiti. The earthquake hit close to the capital of Port-au-Prince, increasing the overall damage impact of the quake. After the initial earthquake, the island was hit by two large aftershocks. After those initial aftershocks, another one hit 8 days later on January 20th, 2010 that was a magnitude of 5.9 and collapsed many already damaged buildings. The actual death toll varies in reports, but according to Encyclopedia Britannica, the Haitian government's official count was more than 300,000 people. According to worldvision.org, at least 300,000 people were injured and 1.5 million people were displaced. My literature review for this paper looked specifically at the use of information. First, I looked at preparation, which was information used prior to the earthquake, then information used during the earthquake, which looked specifically at information used on January 12, 2010, the day of the earthquake, and finally I looked at the literature on information used after the earthquake. There were many articles regarding information used during and after the Haiti 2010 earthquake, but I did not find as much about the use of information prior to the earthquake. There were two major sources that I found that discussed this. The first was an article by Randy Shostak. In that article, he explained that scientists conducting seismic research in 2008 predicted that there would be a large earthquake that would be devastating, that would hit Haiti since it would be a shallow event. The scientists traveled to Haiti and met with top government officials to warn them. Although the government officials believed, they did nothing about it. The scientists said that even had they started to make changes, there was not enough time before the earthquake struck that it would have made a difference. Another report that mentions the need for preparation before an earthquake occurs was a hearing in the United States Congress comparing the Haiti earthquake with one that occurred in Chile later the same year. It was the conclusion of the hearing that the Chilean earthquake did not have as big an impact because they were prepared for the earthquake. In his testimony, Dr. Reginald Desroches stated, "There are numerous reasons for the differences in the outcomes. However, there is no doubt that the advanced level of seismic design and preparedness in Chile compared to Haiti is a primary contributing factor to the significant differences observed between the two earthquakes." This report focused on the need for preparation and infrastructure prior to an earthquake to minimize the potential damage. One article about information used during the earthquake talked about the benefits of a crowdsourcing map that was online 2 hours after the Haiti earthquake took place. Jessica Heinzelman, in her article, explained, as international organizations work to gain information about damage, needs, locations, and road and security conditions, Ushahidi came online in Haiti. This new source of intelligence pulled information from Twitter, Facebook, and blogs and received it via text message to create reports that were placed on a web-based interactive map available to anyone with an internet connection. Another article talked about the use of satellite information directly following the earthquake. The maps were used to determine where is the damage, what is the severity of the impact, where are the people in need, where to put up shelter and medical centers, and how best to employ relief equipment. Information used after the earthquake was targeted at people outside of Haiti. It was not for the victims or the relief workers, but was for the world's population. This information came from news sources such as CNN, Fox News, and the Associated Press, etc. There were also blogs that covered the events. Some of the information was targeted to people wanting to provide financial or other aid to the victims and gave information on how to donate. My analysis looks at the information gathering and use for these same periods. Information used during and shortly after the earthquake was swift and coordinated to provide rescue and relief to the people. Within minutes of the earthquake, the Global Disaster Alert and Coordination System sent out a message to disaster managers from around the globe. They used a cluster approach, which increased coordination of efforts. Although the relief efforts ran into several problems, such as lack of communication, airport overload, lack of fuel to make deliveries, it was not information mismanagement that caused these issues in the relief attempts. In connection with the cluster approach to humanitarian efforts, there were three main ways that information was coordinated after the Haitian earthquake. The first was One Response, which is an interagency website run by the UN where information can be gathered and shared between organizations to help the clusters with information management. This site makes it easy for the clusters to input and share information. Another resource that was utilized was Sahana. This site created a Haiti earthquake portal to share information. In the beginning, the portal was focused on where the staff of all organizations were located on a map, and then it moved on to mapping where relief was most needed. This system has 7 modules that focus on the most prevalent needs in a disaster. The third main source of information was crowdsourcing through the Ushahidi mapping tool. This allowed people to upload their own stories or needs via social media, email, or text. This crowdsourcing map came online 2 hours after the earthquake. These resources made it possible for the NGOs and search and rescue teams to find those that were able to ask for help using the resources they had. The interactive maps also made it possible for the relief organizations, including governments, nonprofits, the UN, and others, to know where the greatest needs were and to send relief and aid to those areas first. These tools help with the prioritization, and information collected through these systems is crucial and life-saving. Information was also shared with the global community shortly after the earthquake occurred. The news organizations reported frequently on what was happening in that country, passing information on to the rest of the world. There was also information available through social media such as Twitter and Facebook. Many graphic photos and videos were shown through these outlets to keep the global community aware of the extent of the damage to this very poor country. Many sites started to appear encouraging people to donate to charities for the relief of the Haitian people and to help rebuild. As mentioned before, there was information discovered by scientists that warned the island nation of the probability of an earthquake. However, this information was not acted on. In comparison, Chile suffered an earthquake with an 8.8 magnitude, and the impact was not nearly as great. The difference between the two nations was preparation. Chile had experienced earthquakes before, so they had building codes in place. The infrastructure of that area was more prepared for a big earthquake, and it was obvious in the damage they suffered in comparison to that of Haiti. Even if the government officials did not have time to get the infrastructure prepared for an earthquake after they had been warned, there was always time to educate the population on what can be done to prepare personally, as families, and as communities. It is possible, even though the earthquake would still have happened, and there would still have been a high casualty and death list, the people may have had a better understanding of what they needed to do in the emergency situation. Many websites provide lists for disaster preparedness and how to behave and act during certain types of disasters. For example, on the website for the Red Cross, it gives suggestions of what to do for an earthquake: before an earthquake, during an earthquake if you're indoors, during an earthquake if you are outdoors, after an earthquake. There are also printable sheets of what to include in an emergency preparedness kit, forms about how to do an evacuation plan, and guides for families on what to do to prepare. All of this information could have helped the people prepare to know what to do in the event of an earthquake. Suggestions for future preparedness. There's a lot of information on the internet and from other sources on how to be prepared for an earthquake. The question is, how can this information be given to the public? In areas that there is a high likelihood of an earthquake, preparedness can be added to the public school curriculum. Earthquake drills can be instituted so that children and youth know what to do in the event of an earthquake. Information can be given during special events, such as Disaster Preparedness Week or Month. There can be infographics or other informational materials mailed to the homes of people in high earthquake risk zones. Emails and social media can be utilized to get the information out to the people. Information professionals can get involved in sharing this crucial information. They can pair up with other agencies and people in the community to provide educational programming and activities for all ages. This can be done at the library or other places in the community, such as a police or fire station. The January 12, 2010 earthquake in Haiti was a catastrophic event with major loss of life and casualty toll. It left over 1 million people displaced without homes. The global community came together after the earthquake and coordinated events and shared information to provide aid to the country. They were able to use crowdsourcing maps in search and rescue efforts, and satellite maps helped them identify the places with the greatest need. The people of the world were given information on how to donate and help in the relief efforts. Many websites and news sources provided up-to-date information on what was happening in Haiti as it happened. Although the relief efforts were sufficient to get aid to those in need, the Haitian people could have been more prepared for the disastrous event. It would be best if the infrastructure were prepared for the earthquake, but even without being able to do that, the people can still be prepared. It is through preparedness that a country is resilient enough to rebuild and start over. Information professionals can help get the information that is available out to the people to help be prepared for whatever may occur. Thank you for listening. This is the end of the recording.